an unexpected vacation. Part 1. This was all because of the heavy rain at that time.
Finally, I was given work leave too. After more than 1 year, I did not take it because my job was very good, and my strength was very much needed by the company. I am 25 years old, and now I work in an office in a company, and I work as a data analysis. I have actually been given leave for a long time by my boss. But because I think my work of my era is still a lot, so I decided not to take my cuts. Because if I take a leave later, my work is likely to pile up and no one can handle my work. Until finally now, I was only able to take my cut. Because of my work, I had taken everything earlier after the company's target. I took time off for 10 days because it was the number of days of leave that was given by the company where I worked. I have been taking my cuts right for a week. I used to use it well with a vacation. My brother called me. He told me to visit his rented house because I was bored, so I obeyed his wishes. He is also bored. So I plan to visit my brother who is now studying, and he is now contrasting the house there. I have an older sister who is 2 years adrift of me. My sister is named Nana. She is now studying college and majoring in economics, and myself helped to finance her college. But I never felt like it. Because this includes my job as a family, besides this is also a request from my late father to help finance his lecture. My parents have died all because of illness. I want to visit my sister. I miss him enough because it's been a long time for the two of us not meeting. The last time we met Eid. I have prepared all my needs, namely clothing, toiletries, and so forth. I plan to leave tonight today by bus because I happen to have ordered the ticket. At night, I arrived at the terminal and immediately boarded the bus that would take me to the destination. It didn't take long, the bus I was traveling in departing. Because it was in the evening around 10 p.m., so I decided to sleep on that trip. Because it was likely to arrive at where my sister was around 8 in the morning. It was around 06 in the morning. I woke up from my sleep because the bus I was traveling in stopped at a restaurant. Because all the bus passengers were invited for breakfast, where this service had included breakfast once. So I immediately got off the bus and breakfast. After breakfast, our passengers are invited to enter the bus back because they will leave for the journey back. The journey continued again. This time I enjoyed each of my journey by looking at the road that was passed by this bus. Finally, after traveling for more than 10 hours, I arrived in the city where my brother was, and I stopped right in front of the road he signed. I immediately got off the bus and did not forget to bring a bag containing souvenirs for my sister. I immediately walked into the alley, and not far from there, the house that my sister lived in was immediately seen. Because I had been here before, so I was not confused about having to find a location, the rented house. Arriving at the rented house, I immediately knocked on the door and opened by Evelyn. I immediately went inside and lay down on the sofa. Fortunately, first, when looking for a rented house for Sis Evelyn, even though the rental price was quite expensive. But the important thing in the house was already goods or furniture, so there was no need to be confused to fill the furniture again. At that time, Evelyn was neat and looked beautiful. I asked her, "Where are you going?" "I just came. Why do you just want to go?" I asked. "I want to go to campus first," Evelyn said. "You're in the morning." "How come it's up to the morning?" he said, a little trouble. Asked my brother. "Yes. Yesterday I got a bus ticket that departed at night, so in the morning I arrived," I said. "Do you want to leave now?" I asked. "Yeah, right. I'm already ready like this. Have you eaten yet?" Evelyn asked. "Already at the restaurant because I bought a bus ticket that included eating once," I said. "Oh, yeah, Deck. You only carry the backpack?" Evelyn asked. "Yes, just bring this. Why?" I asked. "How many days do you want to stay here?" Evelyn asked. 2 days, I replied. No wonder I just bring a backpack. Why not bring a rather large bag? Afraid that later it will take a long time, said Evelyn. It's hard. What a long time ago for what for? After this holiday, I want to work again, I said. Oh, well, then I'll go first, Deck, said Evelyn. Yes, sis, be careful, I said. I put my bag on the table because I was confused what to do. I would just sleep. I was still sleepy, so I decided to sleep on the sofa. Time passed. I woke up from my sleep and it was already 12 noon. I didn't expect that my sleep was quite long. Even Evelyn had returned from campus. You just slept? Evelyn asked. Heh, yes, I said with a smile. Very sleepy, Deck? Evelyn asked. Yes, the problem is that on the journey, I can't do a lot of sleep through a damaged road, I said. Come out. Let's look for food, Evelyn said. Can, I said. I immediately moved from the sofa, then washed my face. After that, we both rushed to go to lunch. We both departed with a motorbike. This time, Evelyn took me to a place where there was a famous culinary chicken in this city, even though the distance was quite far from rented. But I still want to obey his invitation, because on the one hand, I am also curious about the taste of grilled chicken, which is said to be the most delicious in this city. And sure enough, when he arrived at the place to eat, it turned out to be very crowded with buyers. Fortunately, we both still got a seat. After ordering food, we are waiting for our order to come. I was actually a little frustrated waiting for a long time since it arrived. Almost 30 minutes the food we ordered had not yet come, and my stomach was already hungry. Finally, after waiting for 1 hour the orders we both came, we immediately ate the delicious food, and it turned out to taste really good. So I immediately ate the grilled chicken until it runs out, while Evelyn still looks absorbed in enjoying her food slowly. Because the length of time waiting for him to eat, the rain suddenly fell because it was indeed when leaving. the clouds already seemed cloudy. It rained very heavily, even accompanied by lightning. I was a little afraid to see the roar and trees moving because of the wind. The two of us had been waiting for this rain for quite a long time, but instead of stopping, the rain fell increasingly heavy. I at that time saw an anxious face from Evelyn's face. I tried to ask. "Why, it looks nervous so," I asked, a little worried. "This is very heavy. I'm afraid that my rented house will flood," Evelyn said. "Huh? Have you ever flooded?" I asked, a little surprised. "It has been flooded 3 times. Hopefully this will not reach 4 times flood." "Really, why never tell me?" I asked. "I don't want to bother you. Keep on. Afraid that you will come out again just to move and then rent a house again," Evelyn said. "Yes, it doesn't matter. Rather than being flooded so, cleaning it is also difficult, right?" I said. "Yeah, it's not bad. At least 1-2 days are also finished. It's also helped by friends who often hang out in the environment near my rented house," Evelyn said. "Surely the guy is the one who helps you?" I asked. Yes," Evelyn said. "Be careful. You should not be too close to them. You will be afraid that you will be anything," I warned him. "It's impossible. Their people are good all, especially some are handsome too. Evelyn said with a smile. "Ha! If there is something handsome, just go straight to the spirit," I said. Evelyn and I have been stuck for almost 4 hours and we are very bored. He also took the initiative to invite me to be determined to break through the rain and immediately left that place. I initially didn't want to because I was afraid that later I would end in pain. But finally, I obeyed Evelyn's invitation because the rain had stopped a little. We rushed home. During the trip, it turned out that the rain was still there, but not as hard as earlier. Finally, after traveling for 20 minutes, we both arrived at the rented environment. At that time, we were both surprised, especially me because in this environment had been flooded and flooded had spread in the area of Evelyn's residence. But fortunately, the motorbike did not strike when I broke down the flood. On the one hand, I was also surprised. And I put the motorbike on the highlands in the environment that there is no inundation. Which is, said Evelyn, many local residents who often park vehicles there if this area is being flooded where the plains are rather high. After finishing parking the motorbike, Evelyn and I walked again through a puddle. At that time, I grumbled a little because this was the first time I felt the flood especially. The water had reached knee length and now the clothes I wear are all wet because of rain and floods. We entered the rented house that had been flooded, and a lot of goods in this rented house were floating. At that time, I was told Evelyn to help take all the items floating in the water. When I took the items that were flooded, I was surprised because the only bag that I put on the table turned out to fall and joined the floating on the water. Instantly, I immediately took my bag and tried to open the bag, and sure enough, everything was wet, including all my innate clothes. Not only that, the power bank and my laptop were also wet. I was angry with myself because my bag was wet. Evelyn was a little scared and tried to calm me down. "It's calm. Don't be angry," Evelyn said. "How not angry try? See this wet all?" I said. "You can go ahead and laundry. I'll laundry later at my subscription place," Evelyn said. Not that this laptop and power bank also becomes wet. All of this I have to service. Hopefully I can still live, I said, a little frustrated. "I'm sorry because I told you to come here you were hit by a disaster," Evelyn said, blaming him for seeing me emotional. I, who heard the words of Evelyn, who blamed myself, made my emotions immediately subsided, because I could not bear to feel guilty and afraid that later crying and persuaded to stop crying very difficult. Don't feel guilty like that. This is also my own fault, which is the bag too to the edge, so it falls, I said. At that time, we both continued to clean up the goods that were flooded. At that time, the two of us had just finished cleaning the house at 8 p.m., even though we tried to remove this water. But only a few came out of the house and were still flooded. After that, I decided to take a shower. Fortunately, the flood did not reach the bathtub, so the water in the tub did not get dirty. After bathing this time, I was very confused because I just remembered that all the clothes I brought were all wet. I was forced to come out with only a towel to meet Sis Evelyn. At that time, he was seen in his room playing cell phone. "Brother, I don't have any clothes anymore. Can you lend you first or not?" I asked. My clothes for all women. Do you still want to borrow?" Evelyn asked. "Yes, it doesn't matter. Rather than I'm like this, I want to buy clothes too late," I said. "Don't be I just asked to borrow my neighbor's clothes here. Or not the same children who like to hang out here first," Evelyn said. I don't want to wear other people's clothes. If, for example, the person has a disease, how can I be infected later after wearing his clothes? I said. "You are indeed too perfectionist. Then what? Are you sure you want to borrow my clothes?" Evelyn asked. "Yes, look for the right one. I'm already cold," I said. Yes, patient," Evelyn said. Evelyn was seen looking for clothes in her closet while I waited by sitting on the bed. 5 minutes later, she finally found clothes for I was wearing. She gave the clothes and told me that there were only a few clothes that were not wet, and that was one of them. I was curious and saw all the clothes he gave. I was a little doubtful and not sure I wanted to wear it, because what was given was a settings that were piled up from black clothes, green trousers, and also green blazers that matched their pants. At that time, I tried to ask Evelyn about her clothes. I asked for another clothes, but Evelyn answered that she didn't have any more besides that. I'm a little disappointed, but what else can I do? I have to wear the clothes he gave earlier. At that time, I wanted to get out of his room and just remembered that I also didn't have underwear either. I actually want to borrow, but I undo that intention because I'm ashamed, and of course Evelyn will give me a strange model of underwear. I immediately came out of Evelyn's room and entered my own room. There I immediately took off the towel I was wearing, and at that time also wearing the clothes that Evelyn gave me. I immediately wore the pants without my underwear. And when I used, I felt my small banana seemed to be as if it was caught. I tried to walk, and sure enough, if these pants were very tight in my body, what else could Evelyn only have this and I couldn't refuse? After that, I used the underwear and a green blazer. It seemed like I felt comfortable, even though it was funny when I tried to look in the mirror in front of the glass cabinet. Then I decided to get out of the room. When I walked, I felt very tight in my little banana area. In my heart, I just said if, for example, this was wearing underwear as well or not a stuffy. Like this, I already felt stuffy, let alone wear underwear. Evelyn saw me and praised me in the clothes she had given. Whether this was a praise or ridicule, but in my heart I still felt annoyed. "Really suitable clothes to wear with you," Evelyn said. "Don't make a mocking teasing," I said. "Not mocking. This sister praised you to know," he said, as if his mouth would hold back laughter. "Praise, but why does his mouth look like he wants to laugh like that?" I said. "Heh, heh, heh. Oh yeah, you don't wear underwear?" Evelyn asked. "No," I replied. "I borrowed my underwear," he said. "No need," I said. "Why?" "Dirty know not to wear like that," Evelyn said. "It's just me wearing pants, very tight and stuffy. I want to add panties that are there instead of my little bananas. This is tortured," I said in a slightly annoyed tone. Yeah. It's normal to talk," Evelyn said. At that time, because it was 10 o'clock at night, my stomach was hungry again, and I asked Evelyn to buy me food, but instead he invited me to eat outside, which was an ordinary roadside food with menus such as processed chicken and fried fish or grilled.
To be continued. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.
In the dark, where secrets hide, whispered dreams that won't subside, silhouetted in the night, endless passion sets alight. On the floor, where rhythms blend, kisses linger, softly penned, eyes that gleam with hidden fire, moving closer, pure desire. Feel the beat, a siren's call, lost in shadows, lost in awe. Love's a game we both conspire in this dance of pure desire.